Yo, what's up? It's Constructive Cynicism. We're gonna be doing a low percent tutorial today. I just want to get some things quickly mentioned before we get started. First of all, this is gonna cover both patch 1221 and 1432. I actually think the patches are way more similar than you'd expect. They're just like some minor skips, or like one major skip and then some minor details with enemy spawns. Two, this isn't really going to be too oriented towards beginners. I'm going to try not to go in depth in things like jumping in dirt math, you know, typical shenanigans. Mostly because I don't really think it's a great beginner category. It's not very beginner friendly. Now, don't get me wrong, you can start with it. I started with low percent. But a lot of the challenges in this category are very difficult, the reset rate's high, and the time loss for mistakes is quite significant. So there's not very many beginner strats either, so it doesn't make it very appealing for a lot of beginners, and that's why I'm not going to be going in depth on beginner strats. If you have any questions about that kind of stuff, you can hop on the Discord, and anyone would be happy to help you. And then just some quick shoutouts before we get into the nitty-gritty, into the fun. First of all, I want to shout out Rhino Feeder, who's helped me personally with a lot of the stuff in this category. Helped me through deepness when I was struggling and just new to the game. Helped me with a lot of strategies. They're the current world record holder now. They've done a lot of great things for this category. Lots of like just innovations. I've done a lot of labbing myself. And between me, Rhino, and some other people, we've really gotten this category to a lot more of a fun place, I'd say. And one of those people that's helped, in my opinion, is Battery, MIT Battery. They're really cool dude, really chill. They do a lot of variety, but when they do Hollow Knight, low percent is one of their passions, and they came up with a lot of cool strategies that I even implement in runs. Backups, faster rooms, just like really ingenious stuff. Another person is Homophody. Without Homophody, we wouldn't really have the category where it is today. Homophody did a lot of the initial rerouting and just getting the category to like the optimized spot. Now, I wasn't there for that, so I don't know the extent that this category was in before Homophody came and changed it, but they had the world record up until recently, and they're pretty cool. Insomnia also helped with the VSync Pogo, which we use in current patch, multiple minute saver over the old method. There was another method that we'll get into, which was very difficult. Shoutouts to Valley for SSCD cleaner, my Russian hacks, which is actually what I use now. I was a controller gamer up until about a week ago. And yeah, there's lots of other great people who've helped, like Axe2 and stuff have helped me with like individual rooms and stuff. But yeah, let's just go ahead and get started. First things first, you can start with either regular Steel Soul. Obviously when you're new, you know, and in practice you shouldn't be picking Steel Soul. And then there's also a Shade Skip that you can do in 1432 is like a new strat, or just like a quality of life strat, which if you do that you can't do Steel Soul. But other than that, Steel Soul's fine. Obviously we're going to be trying to get the early control here in King's Pass, since we are starting with 1221. Now, not everything I do is going to be perfect. I haven't really ran this patch in a minute, and I'm also still getting used to keyboard, so bear with me here. There might be some editing if I take too long to do certain things, like double spike. You know, typical shenanigans. Oh, I forgot. I actually don't go for RNG softball in this patch, but apparently I do now. Holy cow. Whatever. Now, if that was a run, I'd reset, but just a quick tutorial. So everything's the same up to this point, just going through King's Pass and Dirtmouth, all the same. Things start changing once we get into Crossroads, but most of the early game's going to be the same, just like any other category. There's not really a whole lot of diversity in routing. But we're going to be opening up the Stag station. It's kind of like our gimmick. So we're going to drop down here. Now this husk can be in a couple different spots. So one of the spots it could be in is right here. And one of the things is when you're dropping from here, you actually can't see them. So just make sure that you always give a little down slash as you're dropping to avoid getting hit. And the husk will run over to the rocks and then you can kill them there. Optimally, the fastest method of getting that geo is going to be the husk being on the right. So just some RNG. Just like this elevator drop. Not much you can do about it. Let's see. Now, the only thing you need to keep in mind about double spike is that you're trying to get geo. You should be getting up to 22 geo from the first husk and rocks. And then any geo that you miss, you're going to need to make up here. Now, you need to leave this room with 32 geo. So, realistically, you should be fine unless you just didn't break the rock at all. Because the Aspen Arena can drop 18. So, as long as you got at least 14 from those rocks up there, you're fine. My swing was heard, but didn't go off. But yeah. So yeah, I got the geo from this first guy. And then kind of like stop for a bit and pick up as much geo as you can. Now, as a bare minimum, you need 32 leaving this room, because the next husk geo will give 18. You can pick up a total of 18 geo from the Aspen Arena if you get all of it. And you can pick up a total of 18 from here, and you can pick up a total of 22 from the top one. So if you get perfect geo, you should have a total of 58. But that's a little unreasonable. Now, something I want to talk about before we leave is that this GOM cycle can be different depending on this husk, right? So this husk, once again, just like the other husk, can be in a couple different spots. So you want to down slash as you're coming down and lure them to this rock again. But depending on how long it takes you, these GOMs can be in different cycles. So it's okay to take damage once to try and get through better. But realistically, the key to any good GOM cycle in this room is to make sure you can always jump over this first one by doing this hop to the lower ledge on every cycle, and that'll help you tremendously. Now, if you're short geo, if you got 48, you can kill this fly right here, and don't let it kill you. And you can get up to 3 potentially, but that's like last resort. Usually, if you're short of the 50 geo, it's because you're just going too fast. It's okay to lose like a half a second to pick up geo. And that's part of the reason why this category has like a really inconsistent early game, is because husk positioning changes how much geo you get. But you're going to use all 50 to open up the Stag, and you're just going to run out. You could take the bench, I guess, if you wanted, but I went early. Wow, I missed that, Pogo. XD, what a noob. Let's see. From here until Greenpath is going to be the same. So there's not going to be a whole lot of commentary. Obviously, if that jumping husk is in a bad spot, you want to pogo them because they can hit the ceiling and bonk you because it's a global variable. So a good time for this split, I think anything below 4 minutes is pretty acceptable for beginners. And then, obviously, RNG aside, I think a 354 is, like, fine. Getting Geo from the husks in the False Knight room is, like, pretty decent, but it's not super mandatory. This category's Geo routing is not super tight, and I actually take some measures usually to prevent it from being tight. So, yep, get your VS. This split's just the same as any percent, like, the exact same. The only thing that you can do wrong is pick up Soul Catcher. If you pick up Soul Catcher, you need a reset. So I guess this is a good time for the PSA. Don't deviate from the route too much or else you'll pick up percent. And if you pick up percent, you make your run invalid, obviously, because this is low percent, right? There's certain things you can pick up, like, we'll talk about that. But as a general rule of thumb, any boss that you fight, any charm you pick up, you know, big try to get some Geo. Sometimes it can kind of get annoying and hop over there, but if you take damage, you can bench there. In fact, so if you take that bench now, and hopefully you have enough HP to not need to pick up the notch, but if you're getting damaged in mound, that probably means you're gonna get damaged on the way there. So it's just something to keep in mind, that it's going to be a long split, optimally, so. You don't really need any extra soul. This category uses less than any percent because we don't do fireball skips. So that's just a Balder insta-kill glitch. You just jump over here, fireball, standard stuff. If it spits out a Balder, make sure to up-slash it as you're walking to get all this Geo. You don't want to miss it. So that's just the standard any percent fireball skip. We'll go more in depth on how fireball skips work when we make it to Queens, but if you do exactly what I did, it'll work every time. So in this room, just hold left. You don't care about getting souls much, so don't even turn around for backslashes. If you can't get the swing on the way, just don't even go for it, because we get soul later. Don't kill this bottom row of birds by, like, jumping up here. Like, you don't need to. Just kill these two. You get freeze frames when you kill birds anyway, so. For this room, we're not fireball skipping. We're gonna go down here, inventory drop, and then hold right. And then, when you get to this ledge, you need to stop for a second so you don't fall in the acid. If you, I'll demonstrate it, but if you go all the way right, you'll fall into the acid. I mean, I suppose you could, like, not important, just do what I did. It's the fastest thing I found for the room. Sometimes you need to up-slash, sometimes you need to pogo, depends. I meant to pause. Okay, so this Mosskin right here, if they are kind, they'll be on the right, and you can get some Geo, and if they're on the left, you're sad. But if they're on the right, you're gonna nail Fireball, like you're gonna drop where I did, nail Fireball, and it's gonna hit a Mosskin off screen, so make sure you're holding right this entire time. If they're on the left, you're just gonna jump over, and I'll show you what that looks like later. But nail Fireball, and it hits a Mosskin off screen, you're gonna jump up, and you're gonna pogo the explosion. If you miss this, you can go around, and I'll show you what that is, but I just don't miss it. Alternatively, you could also, like, lure the Mosskin over and, like, fireball it, and it'll, like, get knocked over, but all that, it's kind of pointless. So if the Moskin's on the left, like they are here, you just drop and you fireball right here. And it knocks the corpse all the way over to the right spot. Now if you miss it, you can just go around. This is actually what we do in current patch because we can't pogo. And you just pogo the spikes. What's next? Oh. If you're short soul, you'll get it by hitting those guys right there. Up slash. And ideally, you're full soul leaving this room. But if not, we can get a couple hits on this guy. Now, you don't need to be full soul, but you'd really like to be. So coming up is going to be friend Pogo or friend Skip. It's RNG. So this is friend. If friend is where they are right now, if you immediately drop instead of pausing like I did, you hold right and you can pogo them across. And they'll be in the perfect spot. The other spot friend can be is right here when you immediately drop, in which case you're going to fireball skip. So the fireball skip looks like this, and you can do it with 2. You can also do it with all 3 if you have a bad turnaround. So I'd start with 3, and then once you get, why are my splits being like that? Yo, okay, we're back. Hopefully with the power of editing magic, you'll never know that I just hit the kill self hotkey by accident. Anyways, back to what I was talking about. Friend is also pogoable. As you can see, their hitbox is pretty big, so I'm just going to turn that on so you can see. For whatever reason, even though it's like down there, it's pretty pogoable. So you can ride friend for quite a long ways. I believe the yellow one is what's technically pogoable. And when the green and the yellow one collide. But enough said. You're just going to want to pogo friend all the way across to here, or you're going to fireball skip. Now, if you fireball skip, it's slower, and you're going to need to get Soul and Fog Canyon, but that's just RNG at its finest. So, regardless of what you choose, you're going to go to Fog Canyon, or not what you choose, but what you get. Now, this method that I'm doing is the... Let me talk and think and not mess up. Holy cow. Okay. So you're going to go right here. You're going to up slash, and then you're going to hopefully up slash this one. It could be an annoying spot. And then you can up slash that one, and then up slash that one. But I got, like, really unfortunate there, so I'm going to go back and try and show you what optimal is like. Let's see here. I haven't done this in a second, so up slash, inventory, up slash, and then this jellyfish would be here and you'd up slash them. This room has 2 methods. I'm going to show you the rhino method first. That jellyfish is RNG, and sometimes you'll need to take damage, a ledge slip, and then that. Sometimes you won't get the ledge slip. If you don't get this slip, if you miss it, you get hit by this jellyfish and it knocks you this way, and then you're fine. And then the other method, which gives you more soul. Oh yeah, if this jellyfish, this first one, is not over to the right and being an annoying little you slip by it and then you up slash it. So the alternative method for this room, up slash, side, and then up or get hit, either one, inventory drop, and then you can side slash that final one. Regardless, the end goal is to have full soul for this next skip, which is Queen Station. Queen Station is intimidating for a lot of new runners. It's pretty infamous. I'm going to show the skip now, and then we'll talk about it. So that's Queen Station. So there are 3 aspects of fireball skips that will help you get the distance. The first is coyote frames. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on hitboxes and slow the game down so I can demonstrate a concept. So when you walk off a ledge, you can actually jump when you're no longer on the ledge. This is a concept known as coyote frames. Reference to the cartoon character Wile E. Coyote, since they'd like off the platform and then they'd like hover in the air and then they'd fall, you know, that stuff. But the whole point is that you can get these coyote frames. If you look at the dust of your character, you'll see your character, and sometimes you can jump too late, but the whole point is you want to get a really nice jump off this ledge, and this applies to all fireball skips for the most part. The next part is how vertical velocity works. So when you fall, you accelerate to a fall speed cap, right? And then inventory dropping removes this cap. Of fireballing and spacing out your fireballs is to reset your fall speed. I don't know why it keeps splitting, but... So, when you fireball, it resets your fall speed temporarily, but then you'll accelerate, right? And that's why you don't want to go, like... You don't want to do that. That's bad. Because you're not resetting your fall speed. But when you space it like that, you reset your fall speed repeatedly while also moving right. Now, this skip is possible with 2. And you might see some editing magic, and I'll magically get it here. Or I'll just get it first try. That also works. Now, with fireball skips, those turnarounds that you need are really clean, right? You want them to be precise. You don't want to be doing that. And so there's a couple tools which will help you get them perfect. So the first tool, if you're on keyboard like I am these days, is SOCD Cleaner. Basically, if you look at my inputs, you see how I'm like moving left and right really quickly, like turning that perfectly? Yeah, there's no way that I can actually flick my fingers and turn around that perfectly. There is a macro developed by a wonderful member of our community, and what it allows you to do is it allows your left and right to override each other. And so if you hold a direction, let's say left, and you tap right, it will automatically make you let go of left really quickly so you can move right and go back. Because normally when you hold both, you'll stay still. But this will allow you to do, like, super quick wiggles. So just download it, run it, and just try it, and you'll see what it does. If you're on controller, don't worry. There's a special thing called claw grip, where you use your D-pad and your analog stick at the same time. Your D-pad actually overrides analog stick input, so you'll hold right on your analog and then tap left on the D-pad, and you can do those turnarounds just like if you had SOCD Cleaner. In fact, because controller gamers can do that is the reason why we have SOCD for keyboard. But yeah, the other tip that I just want to mention when you're turning around is you don't want to press the inputs at the same time, because like this game has like some weird input delay. You're going to want to have just a very slight delay with your turnarounds. But yeah, that's everything there is to Queen Station. Expect to practice. Practice makes perfect. Especially if you're on console, this is going to be hard with the input delay. And just with time, you'll get really good at it. Like, I think it took me multiple hours before I even got it my first time. This skip is really intimidating to beginners, but with practice, you will get this down. I promise you. We're going to move on here into Fungal Wastes. This room, we're trying to collect some soul so we can use it later. So just get some up slashes if you can. Sometimes you can't, that's cool. We're not doing any fireball skips or anything. Now, if you up slash this guy, you can get him to like right here, and then you can actually pogo him to skip this platform. And then this one right here can sometimes be right over here actually, and you can actually pogo them and make it to that platform and skip this one altogether. But that's just RNG stuff. I usually like killing this guy because they will always float left and be right about here, and they'll hit you when you're coming down. So this is Sporg Seal. This jump is incredibly cursed at the top. So I'm actually just going to kill all the Sporgs really quickly so I can show you what the jump is. So this jump right here is pretty difficult. It's harder on current patch because they cut the number of coyote frames. But yeah, so that whole thing that I was talking about where you need to walk off the ledge and then jump applies here. So I'm going to slow the game down. See, like, if you're on this ledge and you jump, you're not going to be able to make it. So look for your dust trail when you're jumping. Because if you're jumping early, you're just not going to. So just practice this jump over and over. Not necessarily slow down. But practice it with, like, hitboxes and whatever. And, like, all these Sporgs killed. And just practice just this jump. Because if you fail this, you're going to have a bad time. So I'll just demonstrate quickly here what this looks like with all the Sporgs shooting. It's a war zone. It's pretty horrible. Now, if you're fast, you can get under this one. But if you're slow, it can actually hit you when you're in the animation, like I was. So I'm going to try and demonstrate it again. And see if I can get the optimal cycle. So I'm going to show you a way to improv it if things go wrong at some point. But for now, I'm going to try and show you the fast method. That is the fast one. So I'm going to show you what looks a way that you can make up for a mistake. Let's say you're taking too long. You can actually get hit intentionally and... Oh. I messed up. I don't know why they were firing that fast, but, like... It's kind of hard to explain, but let's say you miss the jump. You can actually pogo the explosion and, like, damage tank to get across. Oh, a final method I forgot to mention is you can actually fireball skip this ledge if you don't get the coyote frames. And it will cause the spore to hit you, and then you can make it across really consistently. But obviously that's another 2 damage you're going to take, and you're going to be short soul, so it's kind of up to you. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. So see how this guy always floats here? So that's why I kill him before, and then I like to jump here, full jump, and then jump. Oh. Okay. Now that we've talked about all that, this room is just pretty much jump up as quickly as possible. Now in this room, I like to, depending on how much soul I'll have, I'll kill some of these guys. Usually I nail fireball this one. And then if I have enough soul, I'll nail fireball this one. Otherwise I won't. See, like, I only do this one if I have, like, full soul. Because you're going to get 2 hits on this guy. And then you can get 1 more hit in this next room. So I just started murdering things without even explaining, so I just quickly reset. So these are ogres. Ogres are pretty simple and straightforward, thankfully. The damage rotation on the first one is nail. I mean, no, not nail. Wow, I already messed it up. The damage rotation on the first one is fireball, nail, fireball, nail, fireball, nail, fireball, nail. So 4 fireballs, 4 nails. They each have 60 HP. It's really simple. And then the next one, you're going to nail swing to 6 soul, and then you're gonna, you know, nail, fireball, nail, fireball, nail, fireball. So I'll demonstrate. Getting hit there is fine. Don't pick up the Geo yet. So, as I said, nail, fireball, like, all that. Get to 6 soul, and then repeat the process. So I'm going to demonstrate again. Soul. So on the way, you can actually Pogo these guys for soul. Getting hit by the juice is normal. Now, if you are low on HP, you can pick up this Charm Notch. It's not a percent, and it heals you to full. Alternatively, you just walk through, and it's slightly faster. It's about like 2 seconds. So I pick up the Notch if you're new or if you're really low. This next split doesn't really have a lot of places to get damaged other than Mantis Pogo and potentially Explosion Pogo if you mess it up really bad. So you can get hits there. Sometimes I kill this guy with the nail fireball if I'm feeling low on Geo, but I'm not. I like leaving that room with around 200, 210. So this is a really good comfy spot. Cloth spawns in this room and you actually see her to the right, so make sure to say hi and bye. So walk, nail, 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 and everything works out. And then inventory drop when you're underneath the middle mushroom, and then you should be good to go. Okay. You can do Fungal Rocks if you're new, but Fungal Rocks is like... Only do Fungal Rocks if you don't want to ever have to worry about Geo, but I'll tell you everything there is to know, which is you should have around 200 here, and you'll be good. If you have less than 200, you'll do the light route, which I'll talk about. So this is Explosion Pogo coming up. I'll talk about visual cues in a second, but I'm probably going to mess this up because I haven't actually done this in a while. My apologies, I had to quickly relearn E-Pogo actually, because I'd forgotten how to do it. But here it is. It's pretty standard, straightforward. So what you're going to do is you're going to be on this platform. You're going to see the spore spawn, and you're going to walk to this wall, and you're just going to hold left and like stay on this wall and drop down. Then you're going to walk left a little, and you're going to touch this mushroom, and you're going to be friends with it till you see the spore come down. And then you're going to walk to this mushroom. The spore is going to curve. And once you see it like at this point, you're going to jump up and Pogo twice. And on the second Pogo, you're going to start holding left. Sounds like a lot, I know, but it's actually not that much. So let me see if I can slow it down to demonstrate. So hold left, hit there, touch this mushroom. You see the spore, walk to here, jump, Pogo twice. And on the second Pogo, you're holding left. So Pogo, Pogo. So yeah, that's everything there is to Explosion Pogo. I kind of stopped the recording by accident, but it's okay. So we're going to move on now. We're going to go over to here, and you're going to Pogo this guy, inventory drop and hit that wall. And now, here's Mantis Pogo coming up. There's a couple setups, and I'm just going to talk about how you can do backups, the standard setups, etc, etc, etc. Okay, so I feel like I've been explaining it bad, so I'm just gonna restart and editing magic, and you're seeing this for the first time. So we're gonna talk about Mantis Pogo, and we'll talk about backups and everything. But first we're gonna talk about how the Mantis actually works. So Mantises have this like little circle around them, and they like you at the very edge of that circle, and that's where they want you. So I'm currently at the edge of its circle. So right here, because I'm at the edge, it's like, okay, I'm going to attack you. If I'm not in the circle, it won't attack me ever. So it's going to swing, and then it's going to go and it's going to oscillate around the circle, right? Like, and then it's going to swing, and it's going to keep oscillating around this circle. So if I walk away, it's going to come closer to me. And if I walk towards it after it's attacked, it'll run away. And then it'll, like, attack. But that's the basic premise, right? If you're in its circle, then it might attack you. If it's not attacking you, it will run away if you get close to it. But when it is attacking you, it'll attack you, and then it'll run away after, if you're still in its circle. And if you're not in its circle, it's going to try to get you in the circle no matter what. And so keeping that in mind, we're going to do a very specific setup to get a Mantis to attack us at a good spot. So we're going to full jump at the edge of this platform, jump over this Mantis, hit the lever, jump, and then we're jumping into that circle. So that Mantis we just killed, we do a mini jump to get in its circle so it attacks us, right? Because the Mantis can only attack if we're in its circle. So it attacks us, and then we jump up and we pogo it 3 times. Now, what that Mantis does when it attacks, and which direction it runs away and all that stuff is RNG. So you're going to have to react to the Mantis. That's the key thing about Mantis Pogo. Is that the Mantises are RNG and they do different things. They attack at different times and you need to react to them. So sometimes it might be best to go to the right platform. And learning how to react, see, like, that Mantis is there, so we're going to do a backup. So, the bread and butter backup for Mantis Pogo is you're going to go right here, you're going to wait for these Mantises to come to you, you're going to wait for them to attack, and then you're going to ride them across. And because when you're riding them, like when you're pogoing them, you're in their bubble, they're going to run away. And they're going to run away the closest direction. So if you're coming from the right side, they're going to run to the left, right? And so you're going to use them to ride across. If you've the setup, or like messed up the setup, please do not try to ride them directly, like, up like this. It's not going to work out. You should always do it from here, because if they try to even flee right, you can go to this right ledge, which is smaller. So I'm going to show a couple more Mantis Pogos, just to kind of, like, show what can happen. So I'm going to shout out really quickly Crythom. She helped with this setup. Oh. With the consistent one for Rhino. And Rhino helped teach it to me. So, once again, I messed up, right? And my first, if I mess up, if I ever mess up, like, I'm gonna mess up here. Oh no, I messed up. I always go to this side. And then try to ride up like that. That's the only way you can back it up, realistically. Oh, I didn't. Okay. Let's see here. What's another thing we need to talk about? We should talk about what happens if you mess up. I'm just gonna kill that one. Oh no! I killed these Mantises. What do I do? So, the short answer is you reset. The long answer is, if you're not gonna reset, normally you'd have to go all the way around, right? You go all the way around, and you're gonna do a fireball skip, and then a fireball skip. There is an alternative method, which I will show you really quickly, which it sometimes works, sometimes it doesn't. Battery showed it to me. MIT Battery. So, oh no, I messed up. Actually, I would have made that, but whatever. For the purposes, I messed up. You're gonna pogo, and then sometimes you'll pogo as up slash and you can get up there. But the other method is you get them all here, and you can usually do something with all 3. But if you can't, if you, like, mess up whatever, you're gonna have to go around or you're gonna have to reset. So, one last Mantis Pogo. And then you're gonna jump up here and you're gonna collect Claw. So I think that's gonna do it for this first part of the tutorial. We'll talk about probably we'll do Claw to Chandelier next. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and can't wait to see you in the next part. Yo, what is up, my current patch gamers? So this is going to be covering the 1.4.3.2 plus category, whatever you want to call it. It's only going to be covering differences, so we're not going to go through everything. Like, I'm not going to do another KP run. So we're just going to go ahead and get right into it. First thing that's changed is, oh, they removed the early King's Pass control. I'm not going to go over a full King's Pass run, but basically you can't inventory drop immediately. The second thing they changed is these husks spawn different. So this husk will aggro differently. As you see, the husk aggroes like as you're falling and will run immediately left. And this is the most common occurrence. And because of this, you'll get less geo most of the time. I usually get around 18 to 20. Next thing is this inventory drop. If I can get it. Holy cow. They're frame perfect now. And then this next thing that they changed is Aspid Kill. You're going to be doing it from the bottom platform. Make sure you're still getting the double spike, as it's important for geo. Kind of messed up there, it's okay. So yeah, that's another thing they changed as well. I'm not even gonna cut it. They changed the Aspid spawn timings so they can be asynchronous. Holy cow. So yeah, that's one of the annoying things about this patch. As you can see, they can spawn really fast and at different times, so very annoying. Another thing, this husk is always on the left and always heading the corner and won't follow you to the rocks, so you get less geo here. So if you need the full geo, I instantly kill him. And if I don't need the geo, I just skip him. And that changes the gum cycle as well, so you're going to be needing to kill this fly a lot more often. So yep, that's basically everything for this first part. We're gonna go ahead and skip through. I also just wanted to quickly mention that I'm not gonna be showing everything that's changed, but I'm gonna be showing the majority. So in this room, you're gonna need to be. Why am I so low? You're gonna need more souls, so you're gonna have to kill these guys because you can't insta kill this boulder. Just gonna turn on infinite HP just in case. So you need to get spit, and then you won't have enough soul to fireball skip, so you can just jump off like this and you'll make it. Okay, so another thing they changed is because of the lucky introduction of inventory cancels, I go through this room a little differently. I'll just inventory cancel there. And then, normally I'd make it down here, and then I'd inventory cancel instead of getting hit by that jellyfish. Okay, and then they changed another thing in this room. So, because they made enemy spawns consistent, there is this explodey husk that is sometimes in the way. So sometimes you can make it up here, but sometimes he just explodes in your face. So you just usually want to fireball him if he's too far to the left, so you don't take damage. And then, yeah, they also changed Sporg seal. Because of the coyote frames, it's a little hard to get. I already got it on this file, but yeah, you just pick it up. And then try to get the inventory drop. I obviously missed it because I'm bad. Okay, this is where things are going to start to get a little more complicated. But basically there's going to be a very hard V-Sync explosion pogo that you can do. And if you're going to be doing that, you don't need to take the leg eater bench. But if you're not doing that, if you're doing the shade skip, you're going to be taking the leg eater bench. There's also a third method, a fireball skip in a Mantis village that I'll show, which doesn't require the leg eater bench either, but yeah, if you're new, you're gonna need to save soul from this fight. So the last guy, you're just going to fireball one less time. So you're only gonna fireball them twice. So I'll just show that really quickly. 4, 5, 6. Fireball, no fireball, no fireball. I accidentally think I fireballed them an extra time. Lol. But basically, just don't fireball them that many times. Very simple. And then I wouldn't pick up the charm notch if you're going for the bench. Because you're going to be taking a bench here anyway. So if you go for the bench, you're going to be jumping up here, 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 here. And then you're going to fireball skip right here. And you're going to take this leg eater wrench. And then if you are not doing the shade skip method, you will not be needing to take this bench. So, like, you could still take it if you really wanted to, but it's obviously going to be time loss. Brief shout out to this inventory drop right here. That's something you're going to need to pay attention to. And then now this is going to be the spot where you kill yourself optimally. You've maybe taken some damage along the way, who knows, you run into this guy, and then I just would go down here and then I'd get hit by the Sporg. And you just want to die to this. And then you're just going to run back down the exact same way that you came. And you're going to shade skip. So congrats, you made it back to this room. You should have collected some soul. Now there's a really easy setup where you just go all the way down here. And then basically you're going to jump at this like crack, a full jump. And then you're going to jump back into the shade, get hit, pogo, fireball, pogo. Just like that, very simple. Okay, so this is going to be the VSync ePogo part. I'm going to link a tutorial to Emre's VSync ePogo, which actually covers it with dash. Basically, it's the same as the dash one, but we're going to be fireballing twice at the end. The other thing to keep in mind is that dash lets you clip the corner pretty easily, and so it makes it super free. Now, we're going to be... Oh yeah. So first of all, there is a FPS counter right here, so you can see. I recommend that you have one on, just so that way you can see that you're getting the VSync. So what VSync actually does, because a lot of people don't actually understand what VSync is, VSync ties your in-game FPS to your monitor's refresh rate, which is measured in hertz, or how many times a second. Basically, your monitor, just like the actual game, will display frames per second. Most monitors are either like 60 or 144, but for this skip, you're going to need to change it down to 60. Unlike the Dash 1, this is not possible with 144. I've never gotten it with 144. Now, you can also change it to 50, which makes the viewing experience from your monitor's perspective a little more annoying. And in fact, 50 is what I did to get the world record for this category. So just as long as it's between 60 and 50, it's fine. Keep in mind that there's going to be some input delay. So that's VSync Pogo. Don't expect to get this first try. It took me about maybe an hour, no, not even an hour, probably like 30-45 minutes to get this my first try, so it's hard. It's very difficult. So let's go over visual cues. So Emery's tutorial will walk you through the visual cue right here, but basically you want your nail, actually let me get a better spot. You want the tip of your nail to be like right around here. As for the actual spore itself, I'm gonna pause when it gets to the right spot. So right around here is when I jump. So let me see if I can get it one more time. This is a little too far left, I mean right, for my taste. But this is right about the good spot. Oh, I jumped too early there. Oh, didn't make it all the way. So that was good, but I just didn't fireball. Because I thought it was going to be bad. Oh, I was too late. Too late? I'm not, she's just too late. Too late. So yeah, this is a very difficult trick, and I'm probably not going to be able to get it again. And I got it again. Yahoo. This is not a beginner-friendly trick. I'd say I have about a 40% success rate when I have a 50 Hz monitor over a long practice session. In runs, I've only gotten it a couple times. It's difficult. So I'm going to be showing you one last method here. Before I forget, make sure to turn off VSync when you finish this. Now, you don't have to. You can go through like Mantis Pogo, and as long as you exit the menu with your escape key when you turn on VSync. Yeah, that's pretty much going to cover it for the current patch changes. I'm not going to be covering every individual change, but those are all the big ones that like really stuck out to me. But if you have any questions, just let us know in the Discord, and I'd be happy to answer any. I know plenty of other people would. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next part.